Women's tag titles in AEW. Boy, oh boy. Once I saw this last night during our AEW weekly Dynamite live stream and watch along as we suffer along with the wonderful Flex Zone family, I had to do a video. I had to get on here and talk to you all about how the women's tag titles are already ruined in AEW on night one. I'm reporting live from Guantanamo Bay. You guys know the vibes. This is the Flex Zone podcast. Your home for professional wrestling. Only place giving you sports how you want it when you need it. Go ahead and super kick that subscribe button. Liger bomb that like button. Leave us a thumbs up. And comment down below your thoughts on the women's tag team titles. Are they already ruined? Are you giving them a chance? Are women's tag titles just not needed in 2025? Go ahead and backdrop that bell. We want to have a nice conversation in the comment section. Let me know how you're feeling as well. So I appreciate each one of you joining me here today on your Thursday, October 23rd, 2025. Now, backstory, AEW announced they were getting women's tag titles. This was probably the worst kept secret in all of professional wrestling, especially when it comes to AEW, because we know not only does Tony Khan love to oversaturate his matches and give you 5-hour pay-per-views, he loves to oversaturate the amount of titles, the amount of belts that he puts out with his company. And I don't think he realizes, I don't think the AEW fan base, I don't think the AEW sickos realize the more titles, the more belts that you have in a promotion, it diminishes, it devalues, it dilutes the titles you already have. You have a men's world championship, you have a TNT championship, you have an international championship, which is now part of the unified championship. You got Mercedes walking around with 12 belts. You have women's TBS championship, who, like I said, what are we doing with that? Mercedes has beaten everybody. We have the tag titles in AEW, which as of late have been booked a little better, but most of the year they weren't really cared about. And honestly speaking, like I said, the dilution, the oversaturation, the just continuous addition. And this is just not an AEW thing. This is across professional wrestling in general. WWE, you got speed titles. You got women's tag titles in WWE that haven't met a thing since Sasha Banks and Bayley were the Boss and her connection. You know, we do things in 2025 because of cancel culture. We do things because, oh, if it's done for the men, it has to be done for the women because we got to say we did it for the women because we love women's wrestling. We got a women's revolution. What you don't realize is when you do things just because and you do things just to be equal because the men have it or you do something just because the women have it, a lot of times it doesn't work out. You have a women's world championship. You have a TBS championship that aren't in any major storylines, that has a division, which we're going to look at, that has been buried by pretty much two women. Now, if you look at the history here, I found it funny because AEW announced on September 24th that they were unveiling, and they did unveil the official AEW women's tag team titles. Now, you may ask, well, why are you bringing this up? September 24th. They didn't announce the bracket until last night, October 22nd, and here we are, October 23rd, the recording of this video. So pretty much you're telling me it takes 4 whole weeks for Tony Khan and his supposed team to come up with an actual bracket, an actual creative, an actual direction for his women's tag titles. From all accounts, these titles were made months, if not last year. And if we look at the titles, what is the difference in originality in them? Why are we giving tag titles to the women and they look exactly like the men's titles? There is no distinction. There is no originality. There is no authenticity. It's like, oh, okay, I'm just going to Google ChatGPT. I'm going to AI some women's tag titles. And they're going to look just like the men's, but they're going to have women's tag team champions on them instead of men's tag team champions on them. Now, don't get me wrong. The AEW tag team titles are beautiful, but don't you think the women, don't you think the ladies that we want to push, that we want to showcase and show that we care about, that they have their own, that they have something that they can represent? And I don't want to make this about WWE, but I know their tag titles don't mean shit, but I like the design of their belt. I like the way the belts look. I think it offers some distinction. Even with the men's tag titles on 2 different shows, which we don't need. We need to unify those belts. We've been saying that forever here, as have a lot of people. But you look at these titles, there's a distinction. The Raw and SmackDown tag titles have a distinction. AEW, no, you just get the same titles that the men have with women's on them. Now, we did get the bracket revealed last night. And first and foremost, okay, there are 8 teams in this bracket. There are 8 teams in this tournament. Okay, you want to give me 8 teams? Cool. You want to give me 16 women vying for these tag titles? Cool. But how are we having a tag team tournament and we literally have maybe 1 or 2 tag teams represented in this tournament? Let's look at it. Top left, Queen Aminata and Jamie Hayter. Good professional wrestlers. I like both women. I think they deserve to do more. I think Jamie Hayter should be world champion again. I think Queen Aminata would be a nice mid-card champion eventually. They're feuding with the Sisters of Sin or Triangle of Madness. Which one is it? Is it Sisters of Sin when it's just Julia and Sky Blue, and then with Tekla it's Triangle of Madness? Okay. Like I said, I see 1 to 2 tag teams, legit tag teams in this tournament. Now, don't get me wrong. Last night they had a 4-way tag team match. Okay, cool. What does the winner get? No, not a first round bye. No, not the opportunity to, be the number 1 seed in the tournament and maybe get a lower seed. They get the opportunity to choose their own opponents, ladies and gentlemen. That is the reward you get for winning a fatal 4-way. No, not $500,000. No, not a first round bye. No, not going up against the lowest seed. You get to pick your opponent.
Stupid. Just stupid.
This is why I say the titles are already wrong, because I already see these titles are going to be delegated to Collision. They're going to be delegated to Tailgate Brawl, aka the new pre-show, which is pretty much a glorified episode of Rampage or Collision 1 hour before the actual pay-per-view. Yeah, they may crown the champions on Full Gear at the initial pay-per-view. They may even have the titles defended at World's End on a pay-per-view. But I'm willing to bet that by the time we get into 2026, by the time we get into the Revolutions and the Double or Nothings and the Dynasties and the all-ins, these titles will be mainly relegated to Collision, Tailgate Brawl, aka the pre-show, and I wouldn't even be surprised if they're somehow even on Ring of Honor. Because do you trust Tony Khan to book weekly television, to book weekly storylines, to book engaging storylines with these women that involve these titles? It just shows me that he's not creative enough. He's too lazy to come up with storylines for his women. They have to always involve a title. So we got Aminata and Hayter against Sisters of Sin. We know we're getting women's blood and guts. I think this is what it's leading to. So it leads me to believe that the Sisters of Sin will win. Okay, cool. Then we get to Willow and Harley when if they become a team, because Harley Cameron has passed around more than a woman celebrity in Hollywood that you see on Instagram all the time. Let's be honest. She has some good character work. She is entertaining. She's talented as hell. And we love Willow, the bubbly personality. She deserves more. And I think she is someone in 2026 that should be women's world champion running this division. But are they a real tag team? Because we've seen Harley with Chris Statlander. We've seen Harley with Queen Aminata. We've seen Harley with Willow. Like I said, she gets passed around, and we don't even know what's going on with her week to week, So she's teaming up with Willow. Okay, cool. We getting Willow in the tournament. We getting Harley. And now, all of a sudden, the newest team with no story, no rhyme or reason, no explanation. Athena walks up to Mercedes yesterday and pretty much tells her, hey, I know we've had issues. Let's team up because we both want those tag titles. And now we're going to be pushing an agenda to get Mercedes more titles. And why are we doing that? Because nobody wants Mercedes to have more titles. Now, what are we going to do here? Because Mercedes isn't taking the pin. Are we going to have Athena take the pin? I think that would be unwise. I think Monet and Athena are going to advance. And I think we're going to get Monet and Athena taking on Sisters of Sin. I think Monet and Athena are going to the finals. Now, Tay J are a real tag team. They're best friends. They've had some history. I'll give you that. Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne, I give you that. They've been teaming together for months. We've never gotten an explanation why they're teammates. We've never gotten an explanation why they are together, top gods as they're being referred to now. Megan Bayne has been ruined. They put her in a title match in her first 2 months in AEW, and she lost and hasn't recovered since. Now she's a tag team wrestler, and honestly, I would like to see them win this whole tournament. I think Megan Bayne at least deserves that, but I wouldn't be surprised if TJ pins Penelope Ford. One of the members of TJ pins Penelope Ford, and they advance. But I do think Bayne and Ford do advance, and they get to the semifinals. Now, where it gets a little predictable, Windsor and Rio. Now, where the hell has Alexander been? Exactly. Where has Alex
Go
Windsor been?
Google it.
She's Mrs. Osprey. We know her husband has shoulder and neck surgery. They bring her in, give her all this fanfare, push her to the moon, give her title opportunity after title opportunity. She has a mini little program with Mercedes. They never really pay that off. Rio comes in. They tag together one time. Now all of a sudden they're a tag team. Can someone make it make sense?
Stupid. Just stupid.
So they're a makeshift tag team, not a real tag team. So we don't get any surprises. We don't get any mystery teams. We don't get any teams from outside promotions. And as I come back to the camera, don't every week on Dynamite we see the Forbidden Door open. Don't every week on Dynamite we see people from New Japan. We see people from CMLL. We see people from Ring of Honor. We see Ring of Honor television champions, and they don't even have a TV deal. But I am confused. We got a makeshift tag team there. So they're going to lose. Okay, cool. Tony and Mina are going to advance. I think Tony and Mina are going to the finals. Now, do they win the whole thing against Monet and Athena? They probably do, because the agenda of this women's division is either Tony or Mercedes, Mercedes or Tony. Why isn't Athena teaming with Billy Starks? Why aren't we telling that story? They are a legit pairing. They've been together. Why couldn't we possibly put and tell a story where Harley joins Mercedes and she proves her loyalty and proves her worth, and maybe they become a odd couple tag team and make a run? But no, they're too lazy to do that. They just put Mercedes and Athena together because of the names, and oh, we're going to put two black women together. Oh, we're going to put two women who have a name together, two women who are champions together, two of the longest reigning champions in AEW over what, 1,500. I'm sure we'll hear it on commentary. They have over 1,500 days of combined title reigns between the two. They are the most, title driven team in this tournament. They have the most experience. Whatever. It is what it is. We know they have creative control. We know they have creative input. And I see a final with Mercedes and Athena taking on Tony and Mina. And I think we'll get a situation where Tony and Mina win the championships, because what'll happen is Mercedes and Athena, can they coexist? They won't be able to coexist. I think Chris Statlander does get involved, and I do think we get a situation where Monet and Athena lose the championships to Tony and Mina, and they're your inaugural women's tag team champions. Now, Mina has been booked terribly since coming to AEW, 0-4 in championship matches, has a worthless Ring of Honor title that she dropped to Mercedes, an interim title at that. And now they put her back with Tony because they have nothing else for them to. We can't put Tony Storm in an actual storyline that doesn't involve the World Championship and actually progress something and actually help make a new star like they did with Mariah May. I would love to see Monet and Athena upset in the first round, maybe have Chris Statlander interfere. But I think we get Mercedes and Athena heels, and we get Tony and Mina baby faces, and we potentially get this match. I don't know when the finals will be. We know the tournament starts next week. Do we do the finals at Full Gear and we get a situation where Mercedes has two matches on that card? Or do we get a situation where they're eliminated in the first round? Now, like I said, Tony and Mina will be your inaugural women's tag team champions. If I had the pin, I'd probably give it to Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. I think they are probably the best bet here. Megan Bayne needs it. I even think Penelope Ford isn't that bad in the ring. I honestly think if they could get more of a character development aspect where they tell the story, where they tell you why they're together, where we get vignettes of these teams working together, training together, why these women's tag team championships are important, why they want to be in this tournament. Like I said, this is a perfect opportunity to bring in a mystery team. Where is Lacey Lane, aka former Katana Chance, and Casey Catanzaro? I hear she may have gone back to Ninja Warrior, American Ninja Warrior. I don't know, but maybe a team like that. You got CMLL, you got Stardom in New Japan, you got Ring of Honor. Where are Deonna Purrazzo and Taya Valkyrie? Because if I look at this women's division on AEW, Alex Windsor is in there. Okay, Anna Jay's in there, Athena's in there. Britt Baker, we'll never see her again on AEW TV. Where's Deonna Purrazzo? Where's Hikaru Shida? We know she just got her visa renewed. We could have put Hikaru Shida with Rio if we wanted to do that. Put the two Japanese women together if we're going to just do that. So we're putting the two black women together. Harley Cameron's in there. Emi Sakura, okay. Where's Diamante? Julia Hart, we know she's in there. Camille, you'll never see her on AEW TV again. What happened? I don't know. She must like Trump or something because Tony and his liberal friends, they don't like that. So I don't know what happened to Camille. She must have wronged Mercedes. We got freaking Karen Jarrett on the women's roster. Chris Statlander's the champion. Layla Gray, beautiful woman. They don't use her at all. She was with Top Flight. I haven't even seen her on TV in months. I don't know what she's doing. Comment down below. Let me know. Madison Rain, I guess she's more of a coach, backstage person, whatever. Marina Shafir. They could have bought in Shayna Baszler. They could have bought in, Ronda Rousey. Name value. I know you might not want to see her in the ring, but put her with a Marina Shafir. Maybe have that MMA striking mixed martial arts background type of team. But nope, they don't use Marina Shafir in there at all. She's just pretty much the heavy for the Death Riders who are still on TV. Mercedes Martinez, we don't see her anymore because Mercedes Martinez and Diamante had a little thing. Two Hispanic women, two Latin women, two people, I believe, from Florida as well. So I don't know what we're doing there, but whatever. We got Mercedes in there. We got Mina. We got Mother Wayne. We love Mother Wayne. We do love Mother Wayne. I ain't gonna lie. Nyla Rose, haven't seen her in months, probably since Mercedes buried her. We got Penelope Ford, Queen Aminata. Where's Serena Deeb? We haven't seen her in months. A great professional wrestler, could be in a good storyline with anybody, helping put them over. Nope. She's known as the Bret Hart of the women's division. Not used at all. Riri Soho, we know she just gave birth not too long ago. She could be returning soon. I wouldn't be surprised if we see her back maybe, the end of this year, early next year. But, she's not going to be in the tag title tournament. Red Velvet, she's her Rebel. Yeah, we're not going to see her because Britt is gone. Sky Blue's in there. Ty Mello. Taya Valkyrie, like I said, was teaming with Deonna Purrazzo, who's now relegated to Ring of Honor. The Vendetta. Tekla is doing the singles thing right now. Thunder Rosa, I don't know if we'll ever see her again in AEW. You can see her in Busted Open, though. I know she's always injured, unfortunately. Yuki Sakazawa, Willow, and Toni Storm. So the women's division right there, you see the women, a lot of talent, a lot of potential. Women you could see in matches and storylines that may want to get you intrigued, interested. Nope. Nope. Because what do we do, ladies and gentlemen? We fed all of these women to either Mercedes Moné or Toni Storm. And what has it done for the division? It's done absolutely nothing. And you can see all of these women here that are not being used. We can play a little game. We can count them. We can count them. That's what, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 38 women on your roster that we're counting on the roster right now. 38 women, okay? All right. Now, out of those 38, who are we using? Who are we building up? Who are we putting a focus on? Who? Maybe Willow, Toni Storm, some Tekla, maybe Sky Blue, Mina, Penelope, Megan Bain, Statlander, Mercedes, Harley. Out of 38 women, you're probably only putting focus on less than 10. And that's a sad number. That is a sad stat. And you can comment down below the women you like on this roster and what are they doing with them. Either they're banished to Guantanamo Bay, they're quote unquote injured, they're having visa issues, they're not on TV, we don't see them for months, no explanation. They bring Rio back, all of a sudden she gets a women's title match, a TBS title match for no reason. And why? Literally, AEW yesterday was just them doing rematches and progressing stories to do more rematches. No advancement, no fresh new stories, no fresh new programs, nothing that I want to sink my teeth into. Tony loves his tournaments. We know that's all he goes to when he can't book weekly episodic television. But this was his opportunity to take what WWE has failed in, to take what other promotions have failed in, and give us some teams we haven't seen. Give us some surprises. Give us some women from other promotions. Use different things to be creative. Maybe do some sort of a round robin tournament. Maybe make this similar to the Continental Classic where you have groups, you have different teams. You have teams, like I said, from New Japan Stardom, from CMLL, maybe from, other promotions on the outside that you bring in, that you showcase, you put on national TV, and you give an opportunity to help give some interest, some meaning, some life to this television program and life to these titles. We've seen it fail in WWE. and it will fail in AEW. Already on night one, I'm not sold. I'm not sold on night one. I don't like where they're heading with this. Like I said, you get 8 teams. I think they could have maybe did like a 16 team tournament. Like I said, have some outside teams, have some other people in the actual tournament. Like I said, we're only getting 18. Like I said, I would have maybe liked to see 8 on one side, 8 on another side. If you're going to do the single elimination thing, like I said, use it over the next few weeks, culminate at Full Gear. But like I said, yeah, the initial championship match may be on Full Gear, but don't be surprised within the next 2 months it's on Collision. Don't be surprised if the next 2 or 3 months it's relegated to Tailgate Brawl, the pre-show, and we get a match where it's leading into the actual pay-per-view. I'm going with Tony and Mina. AEW's in trouble. The viewers are down. The attendance is down. The interest is down. The engagement is down. They may fake and tell you everything's great, but it's not. We're live every Wednesday watching AEW Dynamite. We're breaking it down, giving you the truth, giving you the real of what this company is doing. Yeah, we love AEW. We want them to be great. We want them to succeed. The shit that they're giving us, the laziness, the lack of effort, the false sense of everything is great. Like I said, these women's tag titles are another belt that we'll just do open challenges for. We'll just do, eliminator matches for. And the sad part is, you got these 8 teams. Are these the only teams in the division? Because this isn't really a tag division. We don't really have a legit tag division for the women. The men have a great division. But the women, what? Like I said, you got maybe 2 legit teams, 2 to 3 max of legit teams. The rest are just random pairings or name value pairings. We don't bring in any surprises. We don't bring in any outside commitments or talent. We don't bring in any people from any other promotion when this is the perfect opportunity to do it. Tony Khan has yet again failed the AEW sickos, and I've told you why in this video. I hope you enjoyed the great discussion today. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you guys kick that subscribe button, drop that bell, and go ahead and like or bomb that thumbs up. You hit that thumbs up, it pushes us to the algorithm, pushes us to other wrestling fans, other AEW fans, other people who may not like AEW, other people who may not know they have women's tag titles and why they are already ruined. Leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts down below on this and the other topics of this video. All these women, 38 women, we're using less than 10 in a meaningful way. Maybe less than 5, if you're being honest. And I'm being nice. Like I said, maybe 3 to 4. Like I said, Mercedes, Tony, and maybe a little bit of Statlander now because she's the flavor of the month. Maybe 10. Like I said, so maybe 5 women. But it is what it is. The tournament starts next week. We'll be live and talk about it. It will probably culminate at Full Gear. We'll probably get it relegated to Collision. Maybe an appearance here and there on Dynamite. Tailgate Brawl. Might go to Ring of Honor. Maybe go to other promotions just to showcase them all. But Tony dropped the ball. It would have been a great opportunity to have some surprises, some debuts, maybe some teams you haven't seen in a while, other promotions incorporated, and just use it to be creative and pick up and take the ball and score when WWE fumbles it year after year, month after month with the women's tag team title. We'll see what they do. Tournament starts next week. God's favorite host here on the Flex Zone podcast. Thank you for watching. Tony Khan, get your shit together, man.